Ambe, it's Adam, and I'd like to show you a little bit about your new website. This is the content management system, which is based on Craft's content management system, Craft CMS. And here we are on the dashboard. Hopefully, you'll be able to easily get to this stage after logging in for the first time. And you can see simply a sidebar. You've got the first area here. You're able to view the website, go to your account, edit your settings, or sign out. And then in the sidebar here, we've got the dashboard where we're at. We've got entries, which I'll show you in a moment. Globals, which are similar to entries but more globally available on the website. And then assets, which is images and videos and PDFs and things like that. So here we are on the dashboard. We're logged in. We can see the recent entries. You'll see that as you change things, you'll be able to update this. It'll update automatically for you, showing what you've been working on. If we go over to entries, you'll see now there's another sidebar in place. And we're on pages at the moment. And as you can see, I've built up a site map for you with home and treatments with subpages. Case studies, again with sub-pages, and then a contact page. So it's quite a basic sitemap at the moment, but you have got full power to create more of these pages and move them around as you wish. So in the future, you can add more route pages to the site, landing pages for new services, things like that. And you can also, of course, add more treatments and case studies and edit the homepage, everything you need to do. It's very powerful and very easy to use, I hope. So you can see here the map of pages, and interesting, there's a second column here, and it's quite important. You've got entry type. So each entry, each page or entry can have a type, and as you can see, the home and the contact are in the pages entry type. But then, as you can see, there's various other types based on the area of the site we're in. And in fact, at the moment, I think this is an exhaustive list of each entry type available, and I've used them all, as you can see. So the index obviously lists the sub treatments, and it will be styled as you want it to. We can edit the content on those pages, and the same goes for the case studies index. It lists the sub case studies. And then each treatment is its own treatment entry type. Same goes for the case study. So that's something to be aware of. The other areas here, you can click on the little globe and that'll visit the homepage. So let's try that out now, and I'll show you what we're up to. This is a work in progress. As you can see, it's loading the homepage, which has got a placeholder video. It's got this is called just a text block. Then we have an image, a quote, a contact form, a call to action, a video which uses a embed code from either YouTube or the other one, I forget. Then we have another block. These are all block types, I must explain. They are ways for you to be able to add content in these different shapes and forms and manage it yourself. You can reorder all of these, so you've got a really powerful way to create pages. A video, we've got an area which is called sort of image/text split, which lets you kind of have some column text and then images to accompany it, and that was in Mark's design, so I've added that in there. And then here's the sort of work in progress footer, which I will update. So apologies if you're seeing this and it's changed, but this is where we're at the moment as I'm sharing it with you. So that's the page, the home page. The menu itself is here. And let's go back into Craft now and see what we're up to. So let's go to the home page, and you'll see hopefully a correlation between what you saw on the home page and what here is shown. So first of all, we've got the name of the entry here, the home. This whole right area here is where you can edit the content. And on the left, and on the right, there is a sidebar with kind of like metadata about the entry, and you're able to kind of manage the entry if you wish. So you could, for instance, I won't go too deep into this, but the first thing and the most important thing is the entry type, as we discussed. You can change it right there. Obviously, you've got to save point here. You can kind of save and continue editing, or save and add another entry, or save as a draft, or you could just duplicate it this way, or simply delete it. And then normally you won't have to worry about the slug unless you want to edit the way it is shown in the URL. So the actual link text, SaiSeiCryo.co.uk/ and then it'll be the slug. And if it's got a parent page, for instance, in the case of a treatment, it'll be /treatments/ and then the name of the treatment as a slug. And a slug is like the title, but it is normally in lowercase with dashes instead of spaces. So that's where we're up to. That's the sidebar. You could have got a post date. You can have an expiry date, so you could expire a page in the future and it'll automatically go away from the site. And then if it's enabled or not, you could do that and then save it, and it'll just save it as a draft or disable it, another way of saying it. So that's the basics of a page or an entry. And then here we are, interestingly, the content builder. So you've got the title, and then here is the content builder, which allows us to build up a list of blocks of content, as I showed you on the homepage here, with the video, text, image, quote, form, etc. So as you can see here, here's the video with the overlay content saying SaiSei Cryotherapy, a little subtext there. You've got a video, and then I've got a placeholder image which is from the first frame from that video, so that when people are on a slow connection it will show that first, and then the video will gracefully load on the top, over the top of that placeholder image. So that's the simple block for which is a really nice one, actually, doing hero video. Really cool way to make your site look nice with some nice videos. Text is a simple one. As you see here, this is just a single column of text. If you start adding content into the second column, it will split out and it will left align both columns, like so. I've gone with a centrally aligned by default because that was kind of part of the homepage design for the landing page, so we can talk about that if you don't like that. Then we've got an image. The image is quite flexible in the sense that you can add in content over the top of it. So the image here has the first image. I could edit that if I wanted to and remove it. Show you how that works. You can just add an asset, and then you'll see here all of the different assets available to us, and then that allows you to add something different. I'll leave that for now, but importantly you can put some content over the top of it, which you could use instead of the hero video. If you don't have a video to introduce a page, you can start with an image and put on the top of it a big heading 1, what the treatment is, or what the name of the page is, with some introductory content. You can choose the text color, which is based on the image. So if you've got dark image, you want light text, and if you've got light image, you want dark text. And then you can add in a button, which allows you to link to either URL, your email, a telephone number, an asset, which could be a PDF or something, and an entry at the moment. And that an entry is obviously another page on the site. So that then will, an entry would probably be the one you use the most. And then we might go to contact and then say contact us, which will be the button text. And then just save that. I'm going to do Apple S to save it on my Mac, which will just keep me on the same page, but make a save. And then if I refresh the homepage now, as you can see, that's added a button in. And I could have easily added some text above that. So an image is not just an image, it's got text, it's got content over the top of it as well if you need to. So quite a powerful one. I'd use lots of images if I was you, to really kind of like, make the site look richer. So yeah, that's an image block. Then you've got a quote, which is self-explanatory. It was just the quote itself, which you can format however you like, and then a citation, which then, as you see, is shown like this. And I've deliberately made it a big quote here, but it doesn't have to be, as you can see. And then we've got a contact form, which is like so, and that has an optional text block for introduction. Simple as that. And then we've got a call to action, which is basically like a text blocks, but it's a bit more padded. It's a bit more, it's trying to get somebody's attention here. And you have a darker background for that. And then we have a video, which is, as I said, was like either YouTube or Vimeo. That was the one, which has got an introduction, and then you can paste in the embed code from YouTube or Vimeo into here, which is an iframe, as you can see. We've got the text image split, as I showed you, which was the left column of text, and then following that, as many images as you want, but I'd recommend, 1, 2, 3. It might be worth just having one with one paragraph, and then building up another block, and then doing another text image split block, and then a single image next to that. So that leads us on to the sort of adding and deletion and moving of blocks. Here at the bottom, I can add another one, and as you can see, it lists out all the ones we discussed, plus a map, which I didn't discuss, which would go on the contact page. And you can do that here. So we could add a map in, or a call to action. And as you can see, just below that where I was, it's added that in now, and we can put a call to action in. Importantly, on the top right here, we can do a few things to delete that block, and importantly also, we can rearrange them with this little handle here. So I can move one above another like that, and it now has the video at the bottom instead. Now you might get a bit confused when this really long page is open. There's lots of content, as you can see. So I recommend, once you're up and running, is to collapse the blocks, and that just makes them just one row. And a quick way to do that is double click on this grey area. And then all of a sudden you can really get a feel for actually how the page has been built up, like so. If you save it like that, it doesn't make any changes to it. It's just an easy way for you to see this on the back end. So yeah, that's the basics of entries. If we go back and we look at something else, they're much of a muchness. They're quite similar. They just have a few extra fields that you can add. For example, a treatment. It's got a treatment name. It's got a featured image, which you have to add, and also a summary. And that allows us on the index page of all treatments to have a preview of that treatment. However, below that, you've got a content builder as normal, so a treatment can be anything. It can be images, video, text, whatever you need it to be. So you've got that power of the content builder with a few extra fields above it. And the same goes for case studies. It's very much the same, except it says here case study title, but it's just a featured image and a summary. And we'll maybe present those differently as a grid of cards on the index page, but essentially it just gives you a little bit more flexibility. As you can see, I just clicked on the parent page then, which is case studies index, and at the moment that doesn't have any content on it. We may discuss having an introduction, that sort of thing. At this stage, this is where it's at. It may change in the future, but this will list out all of the case study entries as a grid. So that's where we're up to at the moment. Interestingly, another point to note, I'll go back to the home page. There's a live preview feature, which is awesome. So it allows you to click on that, and then you've got a sidebar with the content editable, and then on the right is the preview. So if I now reorder, if I scroll down and I've got the image and the text block, if I just simply do that, it reloads the page, and now you can see the change that I've made. Very powerful, very easy to use, and I'm sure you'll be enjoying this feature. Okay, finally, we have an SEO tab. Each entry, I'd recommend having a meta description which describes it for Google, and an optional social sharing image. So if you put the link to the page, which if you did that, it takes you to the page, and you just copy the link and paste it onto Facebook or Twitter. Then it will show this title, description, and optionally social sharing image, which is like a preview of the page on Facebook if you share it. However, that leads me on to globals. Now in globals, we've got a bit of information about the company. And if I scroll down to social media quickly, there is a global social sharing image. So if you share any page on Facebook or Twitter, it will default back to this nice logo, as you can just about see there, the S with the green background. But you can override that per entry. So very powerful. Going through the social media, the globals, we've got a logo. At the moment, this is hard-coded into the site, so you don't have to worry about that. Notices allows you to put a disclaimer at the bottom of all pages if you want to, if you have something to say about the services you offer, and also a message which shows up when someone completes a contact form. So that's notices. SEO allows you to have a default meta description. So if you forget to do it on some pages, In the SEO tab, it will fall back to this. We'll have a Google site verification code and a Bing for when we submit to the search engines. Site settings, we've got an analytics setting as well, so we can start analyzing users. And as I showed you a moment ago, we've got social sharing image. Also, we can define our social media profile pages here, and then that in turn will show up in the footer of the site as icons like so. And the more you add, the more icons will show. And also in the metadata of the site that is visible to Google, it will allow you to be visible to Google to have these social media profiles, which then will be good for your profile on Google because it may then list those in the listing for your company. So all good stuff, all very optimized and ready to go. Assets is basically all the images, PDFs, etc., and videos that you upload to the site. You can manage here. If you delete one from here, it will be deleted from the entry itself. So it's a kind of very smart system the way it works. And that's about the basics of it all. It sounds like a lot, but I'm sure you'll find it pretty easy, Nyambe. And I'm always on call to help you out. So good luck with playing with the site, and I will see you on the other side. Cheers.